yeah, and proving the worth that he is to the club. But I mean, Paqueta is frustrating for me. And chairman obviously had a fallout, and well, it's been to our benefit and to their for him. And that was that like kind of tail off at the end where they were on the verge of Champions League, and then they dipped into where they
Yeah.
finished. And I think that I don't know what the chairman was like. I think that really was a
Oh, the pitchforks and torches will come out for the manager's head. You know
yeah. No,
that.
I make you right.
So
I make you
that's
right.
the expectation, isn't it? Right now. Have you subscribed yet? Before this video starts, all you've got to do is take 2 seconds of your time. If you haven't already, subscribe. Good morning, good afternoon, and good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you're watching around the world, this is One Way Football, and this is One and One Fan Talk. Joined here today with Izzy Rascal, the one and only West Ham diehard fan. And how's football been for you, mate?
Well, a little bit better, I'd say, in the last sort of few days because, yeah, finally we got rid of Potter. Bit of a tragic 8 months or so we had him for. So there's a slight upturn in mood, I think, because it feels like the season starts for us really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but we were operating on that low level before, as you know. So yeah, a mild upturn, but yeah, now we've got a new manager. I think things are
How
a
ironic
little
it
bit more.
is that I was just on a video just before this to a Forest fan who's
Oh,
actually he's not happy with the situation with Nuno leaving. So he thinks that you've got a good manager on your hands.
yeah, I think his pedigree. He's done good job at his previous clubs, and I think him leaving Forest was a shock. But obviously, I don't know the reasons behind it. But you can see the chairman obviously had a fallout, and well, it's been to our benefit and to their detriment, really.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Everton West Ham game, which landed on the Monday. Um, Bowen saving the day. I think he's at the moment been one of your massive assets to the club right now.
He's
He's
just he
stepping up in big
just
moments.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. He's played that position a few times, but he's goal talent now for the club. Well, I think he's not too far off behind Antonio's record that he got a few seasons or so back, or last year, whenever it was. So that just goes to show we've not been, hitting the heights. He's been playing in a struggling team, but his numbers have really been kind of keeping us going forward. If we didn't have him, well, it would be a lot more dire. But I think it's just his clinicalness in front of goal that is key. He sometimes maybe doesn't get involved in a game. Like I think I didn't see all of the game. I had to work on Monday, but I think that it's fair to say he turns up when it matters. Like if there's a chance and he's on the end of it, more often than not he scores, and that's what I think is a testament to like the type of player he is. He's outside the top six. I think he's one of the best players in the rest of the teams. Very, very
Yeah.
good for us.
Yeah, I mean, you fought well and hard. I think the freshness of Nuno in that dressing room must be a bit of an uplift for the players as well. Considering
Yeah,
you were going in a very, very dark tunnel down that road of where are you going to end? When's the next you know point 3 points coming on the board? Like just looking at some of the performances that you've had, it's been atrocious, isn't it?
it's been horrendous. Yeah, and thankfully I ain't seen too many of them. But the Chelsea game was bad, and it goes beyond that as well. We've got to talk about last season when we didn't really get that manager bounce with him. It was kind of like we're waiting for it to happen. And if anything, we just sort of trudging along. He was trying to shore up the defense. If anything, we didn't I always think back to that the game against Southampton. I think it was when we just sat back and we were winning the game, and then evidently they scored, and that is not the right mentality to have. Like, don't get me wrong, we were leaking goals like no one's business, but you just adding pressure onto players who already got like low confidence. And I think with Potter, you just didn't see it changing. And of course, with Ward-Prowse, not to make him a scapegoat, but the fans were calling for some change in the middle of the pitch, and he kept pedestrian like type player. We need someone mobile. We need someone dynamic. And well,
Mm.
Nuno did that straight away with the lineup. He took Prowse out of it.
When we talked about like this, the situation, your first game against Sunderland, we talked about this on the Match Week Madness with
Mm.
Johnny and that. Um, you know, 3-0 loss there was just mental. Then I remember I don't think we've had a chat since then. Because you lost 5-1 to Chelsea when we were all, you know, slating Chelsea off, and I was going, see, I even messaged you saying, look, here we go,
Mm.
here's the
Oh,
Chelsea.
when Paqueta scored first, I think, yeah, you said,
Hmm.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, oh, all right, then here we go. It's looking good. Then you got absolutely smothered. Chelsea are kind of getting found out now. Do you know what I mean? That they aren't the team that everyone thinks they are. It's taken a bit of time, but then you went off to go and batter Forest 3-0. They were going through their own problems anyway. So,
Yep.
that it was kind of a bit of a stalemate at the start of that game anyway, that you wouldn't know which side's
We,
going to do what.
and we
Um,
woke up sort of in the latter half. I mean, fair
yeah,
play to Potter on that game. He changed it,
yeah.
and we actually reaped the benefits at like 10-minute period where we just were we
I
put them
mean,
to bed, sort of thing.
yeah. And then the next game is where I'd love to have Johnny on right now. It's what he would have to say, because then you got battered by Tottenham. The whole kudos thing. Uh,
Yeah,
over
I
in
mean,
Dubai.
you have to smile through it, James, because it's so tragic, and that was a bad defeat. Obviously a derby.
You had a
Um,
sending off as well. Um,
yeah. The Souček sending off was a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I just feel he was unlucky. He wasn't trying to be malicious. He overreached for the ball. His foot was at a certain height, and I get the decision, but he was very unlucky with that. I think because we know he's a player that plays with his art, but he's not malicious in any way. And yeah, but that game, these results, James, that you're talking about, 5-0 here, 4-1 there, not good enough. And we're playing
yeah,
with about three central defenders. So the change was needed. And I just think that, those matches, even Sunderland, like, I think we played actually all right in that game. That gets forgotten about. I think we played all right in the first half, but complete capitulation in the second. Then the scoreline, you just see Sunderland, newly promoted, 3-0 winners, not good enough as a thing to look at. Five goals against Chelsea. And yeah, I'm hoping now with Nuno, we try and like look at what's happening at the back there and shore it up. But saying that, our defence are not good enough either. Those three central defensive, whoever you have as a mixture of, not good enough. But he did work
no,
with Kilman at Wolves, so I'm wondering, can he get a level of him? Because we paid 40 million for him, and he's been terrible, in my opinion. He just hasn't been the sort of player that you'd be paying 40 million for. You think back to Dawson, we got him for pittance, and he
yeah,
became a cult favourite because he was determined and putting his body on the line, and that's what we want to see.
yeah. I mean, and then you go to Crystal Palace, you lose there as well. What
And
was just saying,
I mean, Palace are doing brilliantly at the
they're
moment,
they're
and
doing absolutely fantastic, considering the Eze's not there now.
yeah.
Um, there's so many things you could talk about. I'd love to get a Crystal Palace fan on.
Hmm.
Um, I need to find one first. But no, but yeah, I'd love to talk to a Crystal Palace fan right now, because they must be absolutely buzzing in a position they are.
Oh,
How they've actually managed to even be in that position, like they've always been that kind of side anyway, that you've got expectations that they are going to do well. They've always been a bogey team in my eyes for me. Um,
yeah.
I don't know how it is with other teams, but I always look at Crystal Palace and I go, "Oh, here we go." Yeah, I could just see like a
But
draw coming on, or a late defeat.
you make a
They know
good
how
you
to
make
do it as well.
yeah, you make a good point about the players that they've got rid of. and the position they're in now. You think of someone like Eze, who arguably was their best player. I know they had Zaha and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
and yeah, they're just striving. But it's different, isn't it? Like sometimes a player goes and the team kind of gels together and go on a great run. Even the talk of Gay leaving to
I don't even
Newcastle.
think that in that game as well, though. Sorry to interrupt you. The
Yeah,
game
no,
that you played in that game, uh, you were just in awful form, though. I think even to get
yeah,
a goal out of that, it was just looking at some of
yeah,
the stats there, it was just awful. You know,
mate. Yeah,
Paqueta was just off his game. He landed with 3.6. It's just yeah,
I've,
3.6.
I've said
Ward
before.
Prowse 3.8. There was no greens in there apart from Bowen.
Again, yeah, and proving the worth that he is to the club. But I mean, Paqueta is frustrating for me anyway. He wasn't very good against Everton. But like I said to you before the start of the season, we had Somerville to come back, and he has looked really, really good. Um, after a long time out last season, and if he stays fit, could be a real game changer for us as well. So we've got both those options on either side. And then with Youth, who's playing at left back, I'll tell you what a great game he played on against Everton. I've seen him a couple of times. I'm a bit unsure of his defensive, like staying focused in the defence mind, but attackively and with the cross on him, I'm super impressed with him offensively. Just I don't know. I would like to see. He's still young, but I tell you what, our left side is kind of sorted with those two players. I think so. It's
Yeah.
not looking as bad. Now we've got Somerville back, and if we can get, I don't know, Wilson, Fall Creek to try and fire, Nuno's got better players to work with a little bit now.
Yeah, of course, mate. Um, I'm just looking at the up and coming games that you've got. My lord. Um,
There's
I
just no
mean,
easy games, is there anymore?
well, I mean, this is what a bit of ref. I was just when I was talking to the Forest fan then, Tom. I think your situation is a lot better than his situation. I don't like I said, you'll find out in the video anyway when you do watch it with the Forest one. I don't
Yeah,
think Ange has the cojones in the Premier League. I think it's been sugar coated a lot with the Celtic reign that he had there, winning the title there and stuff like that. Because anyone could win the title there. And I say this very very blandly and with courage because I know I'm going to get a lot of abuse from Scottish fans telling me this, but it's the simple fact: the Premier League is a faster paced, bigger game, stronger game, more physical game. I would believe, just because of the pace and the way it is. And if you don't have that mentality in your head, or you don't understand that game of football that is the Premier League, you're going to get left behind. Um,
yeah, it's a difficult one. Not only that, James, you've got like more teams in it for a kickoff who have very different styles. You got the top of the league teams that are obviously
he
possession
finished he
based.
finished he finished 17th with, and I hate to say this as well because I'm an Arsenal fan, with a big club such as Tottenham shouldn't be finishing that side. And this is what I just said on the other video with the Forest fan, Tom. That but I think you've come out better in this scenario. I think Nuno, he knows the game very well in the Premier League. I do feel like you're going to now slowly move up to a little bit. I still probably put you in maybe about 13th, maybe 14th if you can gradually move forward a little bit. But I don't think you're going to go as high as that. But he is. We have to remember as well. Nuno took Forest to where they are today, from a relegated, almost relegated, surviving relegation, and then bringing Forest up to in Europe. You know,
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing for him, and that was that like kind of tail off at the end where they were on the verge of Champions League and then they dipped into where they
yeah,
finished. And I think that I don't know what the chairman was like. I think that really was a bugbear for him. And he came on the pitch, didn't he, at the end of the season and was arguing with him or they were having a to do. And you don't want to see your chairman doing that. And I think, yeah, like you said, it's benefited us because at least with Nuno, there's a bit more of a rounded manager there with what I've seen with Ange is that he's obviously all about offence and very lackluster on the defensive side. Now, in this league, if you're doing that, as Tottenham were, and like they had Van der Ven who was injured for a while, so maybe his strategy was affected by players not being around, but still they were getting found out, and their league position showed it. So if you don't, I don't know what I don't think they've got as quick as a player in the Forest back line as Van der Ven. So is Ange going to change his tactics? Is he going to be, like working with what he's got? Or is he going to have his philosophy and try and mould the team into that manner? Because I think you're right with Nuno. I think he'll be a bit more pragmatic with what he's got. So I'm happy in that sense. If you had to make a choice between the two, would rather Nuno than Ange.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what? Let's just go through the next couple of games because
Yeah,
your next game is against Arsenal. Um, if you thought, I don't know, you know what? It's a tough one to call. West Ham are such a good side when they do play Arsenal, and I think that you kind of do suss us out after the set when you come out in that second half. How we play in that, and it's always been that case. It's always been goals in the game. Um, I would love to do a combined 11 with you, but I don't think you'd have a chance, mate. Apart from Bowen, I would take Bowen all day long. That's about that one.
yeah. I've got to be honest. I don't. Yeah, I think you're right. Really, the shame of it is just. I mean, we do have a lot of new players. When you think about Fernandez, Diouf, Somerville's come back. As I said, he may not be new. Now, I'm not saying they will compete to get into Arsenal's team, but the thing with Arsenal as well, you've had a solid kind of apart. Saka's been injured, but you know what he's about. You've kind of had your team. I know Gokares is new, and you've got a few other new players, but you've still got
Gokares.
players.
By the way, we're slowly starting to figure out Gokares now. I think he's
Hmm.
dreadful.
Oh,
All that hype about him coming, and now I'm starting to feel like he's a bit of a. It's not what it's meant to be. I don't think he's very
not
slow on the ball. He's very slow trying to chase the ball. He's getting caught out by defenders too quickly. Um,
really.
yeah, I was watching it. He's just it's I don't know. Right now, I would probably bench him and probably start Havertz over him now.
Is
He's
he
not
back
putting
from
them
injury?
away. Huh?
Havertz. Is Havertz back from injury?
I don't believe he is, but if I had the chance, I'd probably start Havertz. Have you seen Havertz now though?
No, I
He's
haven't. No.
he's proper muscled up. Like
Oh,
I
was
see
he?
like a side to side picture of him from last season, where he's this skinny, scrawny
Yeah,
like
he's quite
person,
a
but he's
tall.
powered it on. He's got muscle on him now. I was like, when people like Photoshop people of like with the
Oh,
muscles and that, and I was like,
yeah.
nah. But apparently, yeah, he's been in the gym and he's put it on. Like, I mean, probably that's what he wants to go for, a bit of physicality, like with his game, so he can push people off the ball better. Um,
And if he's playing up front on his own,
yeah,
um, that's what you want, a bit of physicality. And if he's quicker than
yeah.
Gokares, then it makes
Gokares
sense
is
for him to be
that
maybe.
different built though. Gokares is you can see that he's top heavy rather than so he slows him down a lot. You can see it. He's very sluggish, just very sluggish on the ball, and he's missing chances like there's no tomorrow. Like even you should be putting these away.
It's yeah. I mean, I haven't seen him play too much. Obviously, I watched the game with interest when we play you, but I think that he's more of a physical guy than a quick
Yeah, he
footballer.
wants, and I feel like he wants the ball to come to him in them positions where he can just score. So he doesn't really want to work for the ball to I think he's even said it before in his interviews that, is there anything you want to ask Odegaard? Because Odegaard sent him a letter, saying, oh, welcome to the club. Anything you need, just ask. And he actually says, yeah, lots of assists, mate. If you can just give me lots of assists. So I think he knows it in himself that he's not going to be he doesn't want to be that workhorse that tracks back to get the ball.
No,
He
and
wants to just stand in the box and score the goals, which we've been crying out for. But at the same time, we've always been so used to working around without a striker that we kind of do it by ourselves anyway. You know,
yeah, yeah. You've had a lot of seasons without that focal point, and
yeah,
if he isn't prepared to, kind of put the shift in, as it were, like you would do without the striker,
Mm,
becomes a bit more obvious when he's not doing it, doesn't it?
yeah. But look, going back to West Ham, I would take Bowen all day long. So he gets in the team, mate. Congratulations.
We got one.
I'll send you your medal. But yeah, no, you know what? As we're going to be on now talking about this, I'm going to go for I'm sorry, mate, but probably a comfortable maybe 2-0 win to Arsenal. What would
Yeah,
you say?
I think it's very tough for Nuno. I know we got the draw out of Everton, but he only had 2 days with the team. He's had a bit longer now, but I still
Mm.
think we've got to give him a chance. Arsenal are a
I think
great
you'd be happy.
team.
You'd be happy with a draw at Arsenal, wouldn't you?
Oh, well happy with a draw, I would be,
Yeah,
yeah, without a doubt.
yeah,
But I think, to be fair, I think we'll probably be 3-1 is what I would go for.
yeah, yeah.
I do think we do
Um,
have an habit of nicking a goal.
yeah. I mean, your next couple of games after that, you've got Brentford again, hard game.
Yeah,
Um, you're
they've
at
done all right
home. Yeah, yeah. Brentford have
against
done all
Man
right
U.
without the players they've lost. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
um,
lot of big losses for them. And I did say on your previous one of your previous shows that I thought there'd be relegation candidates because of the manager and Vissa and
yeah,
Membuemo. So many players they've lost that were really good for them.
yeah,
I mean, beating Man U, I know Man U are not great, but still a good
yeah, of
result for
course.
them.
And then you're away to Leeds. I mean, Leeds are in a bit of a fuffle as well with their own, with the whole situation they're in. I think Leeds they're going to go back down, aren't they?
I
They're
mean, it's
doing it. I
still
mean, to be fair, where are they now? They're doing all right, actually. They're not that bad.
yeah, it's still early days, and I think that I think there's some other teams down there that need to be also concerned.
I mean, they're 12th
Maybe
at the moment with 8 points on the board, so they're not doing as bad as West Ham are,
yeah,
or
exactly.
Wolves or Burnley. So
Wolves are the one. Yeah,
again,
Wolves are down
that
there
could be a
again.
tough game for you.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Leeds will be combative. Fans, hopefully, will cheer us through it, and Nuno will have a bit more time with the team. Like we'll play Arsenal, like you said, and Brentford before them. But I think that again, these are the games we've got to be winning. Everyone's a good team, but your Leeds and your Brentford, Burnley, Wolves, we got to be picking the 3 points up. We can't kind of just give everyone that, they're a good team pass. We're West Ham now. We've got the manager in. He's got to implement what he wants, and we've got to demand from those players on that pitch a bit more
of course.
dedication and a bit more performance, than what we've been seeing. Because there's no
Yeah, of
excuses
course.
now, I think.
Yeah. What would you say to Nuno right now if you had the chance? Like, what would you want to change to see West Ham progress?
Well,
Or
to
what
be
what do you
honest,
want to see in general anyway?
I was encouraged by one the lineup because he did drop. I feel a bit sorry for the player, but it needed to be done. The player needed to be dropped, and he also brought on some players in youth. One thing I didn't like is that, and again you're going to have your gripes, but he did play Fulkrug for the whole game. I thought he could have maybe brought Wilson on because I've seen
Yeah.
Wilson and he's looked a bit more agile up front than maybe
Mm,
Fulkrug does. A bit of a Gokares scenario, but I wouldn't really change too much. I'm quite patient with the new managers, and I like them to, embed their own ideology. But what I would say to him is, yeah, keep Bowen in his ideal position. Do not put him
mm,
up top because I hate it when, we've got a player as good as him, and we're trying to like move players around and square pegs in round hole scenario. He should stay
yeah.
where he is, and you either got to, swap between Fulkrug and Wilson or even come up with another idea. But Bowen should stay on the right. But I wouldn't really change too much. But he is working with some bad defenders as well. So
Yeah.
I'm just quite happy for him to hopefully get to January. He gets some funds to address that situation, and then yeah, maybe we can solidify our position. Hopefully we're 14th, like you said, and then like
Yeah.
move on a little bit to mid-table. But
Mm,
I wouldn't really say too much to him because I did see his interview when he took over, and I've managers can say a lot of sound bites, but he did say something that resonated with me was like, we can't ask the fans to give any more. The players have got to do it now and give back to the fans. And I thought that was a good kind of response because they're always moaning about the fans are not behind the team. Well, the team have been terrible, so yeah, the fans are not behind the team. But I like the way he said the players have got to give that fight an urgency. Not so many words, but he was basically saying, yeah, we've got to give them something to cheer about. So
Yeah, of course.
he's
Yeah.
saying all the right things, and it's just getting them games through, not getting battered by teams, putting the effort in, being dedicated, fighting for the badge. And I think that with him, we will do that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. It totally went over my head as well about I was just looking at what cups you're in. I totally forgot that you got blown away by Wolves in the cup as well. I
We
totally
don't do
forgot
well
you
in
got
cups,
to.
mate.
Yeah, no, I just totally forgot about that. I was thinking, the way the Wolves have been. So I
I
like,
know.
it's been another cup. Like that's the cup that you're out now. So you've
Yeah.
only got what the FA Cup now that you're in because you're not in Europe, are you?
No, 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 no.
Not in Europe. So
That was under the old Moyes era. But I
oh
think
yeah,
that,
it was. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I
I
bet
think
Moyes is
we.
rubbing his hands together a little bit now.
Well, I mean, Everton are probably a good thing for him, but I do. We go back to so I was talking about this with someone the other day, but Moyes, like Ange, was doing terrible in the league, and
Mm.
we didn't get rid of him, but he didn't want to sign another contract, and I think it was benefiting both parties that we separated. But yeah, when Tottenham do it, it's funny how it's kind of like, oh, it's sort of seemed fine, but people
Yeah,
forget that West Ham's league form was bad, and you don't want to be watching. You think of the fans who go to the matches that are paying X amount of money to watch your team defend 90 minutes and still losing. It's not good. So
yeah,
it was a good thing to swap him. But of course, if you swap Moyes with a flannel and then you're like, oh, careful what you wish for, don't swap him with
yeah,
a flannel. Like try and get someone of a good pedigree that's actually gonna, you know, push the team forward. We didn't do that with Lopetegui, or maybe it didn't work out with him, and then we've
yeah.
gone to Potter, hasn't worked out again. And as soon as you have them bad managers, you're further down again from the team, from the ideology. And I think that some stability is needed now, and hopefully,
I
we,
have
we'll
these
get that. I
debates, right?
think
I've had these debates in work as well with a lot of the people that I work with are United fans just because of the area that I work in. They always say to me, oh, Arteta's not the guy to win you the Premier League and da da da. Da. But I sit back there and I stop them in their tracks and say, all right, you give me one manager that's gonna win us the Premier League that's available now. They can't. It's a hard one to like for any club right now. It's hard to say what like your expectations are in that Premier League is to win the Premier League. I'm sorry,
yeah,
I don't care what anyone says. Your expectations in that league with anyone should be to go out and win the league. You know, any manager that walks into a dressing room or walks into a club and has the attitude of, oh, well, we'll just go for 10th this season or they shouldn't have that. Their mentality with anything should be, right, here we are in a position. This is where I want to be the winners.
I'm
That's
sure.
the mentality that you should have going into a club. But it's hard to it's all right for me to say, in a couple of games, if you don't get results and go, Nuno's not the man for you. But who are you going to get that's going to be be completely different? Sorry, because it's just this revolving situation, isn't it, all the time?
That's what I'm kind of because we've arguably gone back to a Moyes style with Nuno. Now, and again, I was talking about this some the other day. It's like, well, we wanted to move away. Moyes style was losing games for us in the league. Now, it worked for a while, and then it didn't, and we wanted to change as a fan base. We have within our right to want to change the style. From watching 90 minutes of defending and long ball or whatever. So, but then we went Lopetegui. So it wasn't a Moyes to Nuno, but Nuno is a Moyesy type defensive manager. But I'll take that if it gets us up the league, stability, and we're not getting battered 5-0 every week. And to go back to your point about Arteta, I think the difficulty with him and you as Arsenal is that he's finished high up and you've got that one little extra bit to go.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult.
There's no
But
other,
with
yeah, there is no other, there is no other wall to climb rather than
yeah,
that standing on the wall. We've
yeah,
got to the top of the wall, but all we need to do is push the person that's standing on that wall to get on top. You know,
and you've had Man City who have been brilliant, and Liverpool have sort of come up. So there's always
So
been
our
someone kind of.
expectations is, I understand where everyone's like saying, "Oh, Arsenal need to win this league. Arsenal need to," but it's not our right to say that. You know that it's just Arsenal should be doing this. Arsenal should be doing it. No, every team in the Premier League should be out to do that. You know,
Yeah, it was like the season when Leicester won it, Pete. That was the kind of mentality that no one really kind of went for the league that year or had their own difficulties. But the thing I'll say about Arteta as a neutral and a
mm.
question to you would be: do you think he's a bit too handbrake on? That's been mentioned in the last few games, and he isn't cavalier enough to maybe win the league, or do you think he is cavalier enough but he's cautious?
Yeah. I again think that he needs to come out of his comfort zone when it comes to big games. He needs to, because of the stature that everyone now expects him to be, because he is that the second place standard. You know, he's kind of raised the bar for a lot of other managers, hasn't he? Considering that he's
Oh,
only just been in the game 7 years. You know,
yeah, he's done a great job at Arsenal. No two ways
you
about
know.
it. But it's just
So I think he's set a standard for other managers to be. Not only that is he's been one of the probably first ever managers to come into a proper managerial job for as a coach, as a head coach, you know, and be where they are, you know. So his standards are high, but he needs to come out of
yeah,
that comfort zone now and go, right now I need to change it up in big games because
yeah.
it's
This is it.
I've come to a halt here. Like it feels like I've got a harness on me, that someone's pulling me back a little bit. So he needs to
And I
come
think,
out of that inner self and be a
yeah,
bit more dramatic with the game. I think
I think the
he's
fans see
dramatic
that.
on the sideline. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
He's all dramatic on the sideline, but he needs to be on the field. He needs to, maybe experiment a bit more with his surroundings and players. He's got the players there to do it, so there's no excuse.
yeah, and a bit more cavalier from my perspective. As I say, I think that that's what the gripe has been with the fans, right? Or question about him just being a little bit more go for games rather
Mm.
than be a little bit. I don't know if it's reserved. Maybe
Don't be afraid of losing, but at the same time, have that mentality of I'm going to go out there and win.
yeah. So,
Like
that would be my question mark about him. Like,
mm,
is he? There's no doubt he's a good manager, done a great job with Arsenal, but that next step
But then
is
again, it's
he?
like I say to everyone, who's the next step then? If we've got to get rid of Arteta now, who's it going to be? Who's available now that is going to come in and keep Arsenal at the second place and then take them a step further
But
without
then,
dropping?
yeah, and that's a good point. But also, if Arteta isn't able to go the next step, but then you don't try
Because let
and
me tell you
mix
this
up.
now, us as Arsenal fans, and a lot of people say this, that we are the most outrageous, outgoing, delusional fans are on the planet when it comes to, and so we was to get rid of Arteta, bring someone else in. As soon as we fall off of that mark and we start dropping down to fourth, oh, the pitchforks and torches will come out for the manager's head.
Yeah, no,
That
I make you right.
so
I make you
that's
right.
the expectation, isn't it, right now?
And the
Um,
difficulty with that position being second for you is, yeah, it's a fine margin.
as
If
soon as you
you've
start
got,
dropping, even third, fourth, and if fans see that, they'll call for your head. So you can't really win. The balance is you either win the whole thing and that's it. You can't go any further. Then get rid of him because like
it's just thinking about it, isn't it a bit mirrory of the Wenger when Wenger was just kind of, he was kind
Wenger
of
was only like
stabilised.
finishing fourth all the time, weren't he? He was
Yeah.
kind. He was getting us in the Champions League, then it kind of dropped off. Even when Arteta came in, we were still finishing maybe seventh or eighth at one point,
Hmm.
and it wasn't enough. We wanted more, and he's
But,
kind of built it up.
like thinking back to the Wenger, and obviously I think fans were calling for him to go, and he was just getting that position. And some fans were
Yeah,
also saying, no, he's doing a great job because he's keeping us stable. I
yeah,
wonder if fans, if with hindsight, would think, oh, maybe we should have kept him longer, or
yeah.
because he was just keeping there. You got rid of Arteta, there was the drop, but now you've gone up. So
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it's one of them situations, isn't it? You can't, and I feel like West Ham would be exactly the same situation. I can't go on much further because we're running out of time, but just
oh
quickly,
yeah, no,
it is that situation with West Ham. You've got rid of someone that you've kind of dropped down, but you still don't want to. You don't know where this manager's going to be taking you right now.
yeah,
You're in a kind of a thing.
stick or
So
twist.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah. So look, this is all we've got time for anyway, Izzy.
Oh,
It's always
always
a
goes
pleasure to
quick.
have you on. Huh?
Always goes quick.
I know it does. Yeah, you get
Yeah.
into it, and then you know what I need to do is start paying for Zoom, and then we can get longer.
Yeah, it's a good idea, mate. It's a good
You know
idea.
what I
Set up a
mean? Like, I'm such
GoFundMe.
a tight arsehole. God, I'm not paying for that. What are you on about?
Mate, I'm the
When I
same with
start raking it
YouTube.
in,
So
then I'll pay for it.
yeah, makes
But look,
sense.
mate,
Makes sense.
it's always a pleasure to have you on, as always.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Maybe we'll have a little chat after maybe the West Ham game, or maybe get you on the match week madness again. Have a
Yeah,
chat
that'd
with
be
the
wicked.
lads.
Cool.
But
Like
look,
that, mate.
listen, yeah, let's see what Nuno does. Let's see if he can turn it around. See if he brings new light to the Hammers, and maybe they'll push forward in the league. But listen, you can only hope anyway. So
Fingers
look,
crossed.
mate, thank you very much for coming on. If you've liked the video, smash us a like and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified when new videos like this come out every week. Thank you very much, Izzy. Thank you very much. And I'll also drop a link as well to your TikTok page.
Oh, cheers, man. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I'll put that in the description as well. If you like, you talk about quizzes and all kinds of things, didn't you?
All sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying
Not
to,
just
yeah,
football, and it's like you
not
do
just
general
football.
quizzes, you do bingo as well. Bingo,
Yeah,
I
there's a
actually
little bit
missed
of
that the other
lives
day.
on there. A
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of everything.
Oh, brilliant. Well, look, thank you very much for coming on, and we shall see
Thanks,
you
mate.
again for another video. Cheers.
All
Thank
the
you very
best.
much, mate.
Take care, fella. Bye.
Take care.